Hey guys, welcome back to Floki's Models. Today we're going to be taking a look at the next kit up on the bench to build. And it's going to be the Eduard F6F-3 Hellcat in 1/48 scale. I love the box art on this. This is the first, I guess, gold box that they came out with last year. As the first time I'm building one that's not the orange and white Profi pack box. This side of the marking options. Got our VF34, VF8, VF38, VF27, and VF2. And it's kit number 8227. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, first thing we got is the clear parts, which come in a Ziploc bag. There you go. And these are, got some mold release on them. And that's something about every part of this kit. It's got a lot of mold release, so gonna have to throw them in the kitchen sink first and scrub them with some Dawn dish soap. Be careful with these though. Let's see. First thing out is one of the cowling options, which looks pretty good. Got a little bit of flash here and there. But I think this kit was originally released in 2008. So, oh yeah, so more flash on this cowling option. But, man, that is some nice detail. And the panel lines are supposed to be raised on the Hellcat. They overlap, kind of like shingles. So you'd have this piece being underneath this piece and riveted together, so it is correct for them to be raised panel lines. And you can even kind of see how they're staggered from the top. Cleaning that seam up is going to be a little hard. Hopefully I won't have much to clean up. And next sprue is has the wing sections. It's got some nice detail in the landing gear bay. So I usually don't go all out on my landing gear bays just because I try to put every build onto a base, and you know, I know the detail would be there, but I mean, just me. Why spend a lot of time super detailing landing gear bays when it's never going to be able to be picked up and looked at? So, but again, that's just me. If you want to go crazy on that, go right ahead. And next sprue has the prop, which again's got some mold release on it. Oh yeah, you can really see that when the light catches it just right. Yeah, there's a lot of mold release on here. Some flash on these depth charges. Ooh, okay, front of the cowl. That's what I was wanting to see here. Again, it's got some mold release on it, but that shape looks correct. So I'm happy about that. You also got the drop tanks on part of the cockpit. And the next sprue, we got the engines, which they are got some nice detail. It's like when I go to reather these engines up, that detail's really gonna pop. Excited to get started on that. And you got the landing gear, which looks like it's already got the brake line molded onto it. Which I won't. I usually put a piece of wire for the brake line. Looks like I won't have to on this. Tires, which they got some flash on them. But this set also comes with resin tires, which we'll be looking at here in a second. Your tail wheel. The flat IP if you're using the included photo etch, which has got 2 big sinkholes in it. And if you want to try to paint up your own instrument panel, you got that one right here. Alright. Next up is the photo etch, which got some nice belts. The IP panel. Got the for the grill for the cowling. Oh, you even got the Pratt Whitney symbol to put on the crankcase. That's cool. On the other side, I'm not too sure what this stuff is, except I know this is the wiring harness for the engine, which I'm not a big fan of the flat wires, so I'll probably just make my own wiring harness out of small gauge wire. And then we got the resin tires that come with this, which these things are just beautiful. Look at that. Even say Firestone on them. And on both sides. That is nice. And you got the hub cover, which also has some excellent detail in it. Get in there. Alright, then the instruction book, which this is the first Eduard kit that I've built that doesn't have the glossy book, but this is just regular paper. Still, I mean, the quality of the instructions is just as good as they always have been. Which got some history about the Hellcat. Then you got your part list. Of course, step 1 starts in the cockpit like normal. And gluing the 2 halves together. Then the tail. Then over to the engine. Cowling. Yeah, there is 3 different cowling options in this. Again, it's got the P for the grill. Then over to ring assembly. And then attaching the rings to the fuselage. Adding some parts to the underside. And you got your recognition lights here. Drop tanks. Then assembling the nice resin wheels and attach them to the landing gear. Looks like the installation of the front gear doors. Masking the canopy. Then attaching your underneath stuff like your drop tank there and the holders for your depth charges. Putting the canopy in place. And then the marking options. Got one for VF-38, which has got the early war or pre-war, well, pre-war and early war red outline over the star and bar. Then you got VF-27, which early on they had the cool looking shark mouth painted on the front of the cowling. That is pretty neat. Then we have VF-8, which also has the red marking around the star and bar. Then VF-34, which this is probably going to be the one that I'm going to go with, just because it's really cool and unique how the spine and the tail is painted in white, also just like the belly. So I like odd things, so I think it'd be really cool to try to do this scheme. And then VF2, which has this really cool yellow, not checkerboard, but a triangle motif on the cowling. And then the last page is your stencil positioning. Alright, and then the decals. This is the first time that I'm going to be using these type of decals. Eduard used to get theirs printed through was it Cartograph from Italy, and now they're doing them in-house. And the way these new Eduard decals are is, you put them on just the same, but then afterwards, after they've dried or set up, you can go back and you can peel the carrier film off the top of them. I've never used them before. I'm going to practice with them when I get there on some of the ones that I won't be using for the aircraft that I'm building. And, just to practice, see how they work, because I really don't know. I'm going to have to do some research on the proper way to use these new decals. And then the last thing in the box is your canopy mask made out of kabuki tape, which these are pre-cut, which is excellent. I wish Tamiya would start pre-cutting theirs, since they've started adding canopy masks to their newer kits. Alright, now let's go see what aftermarket I got for this. Alright, on the aftermarket front here, first thing is some replacement brass barrels from Master. I really like this company. At any time that I can replace gun barrels with these from Master, I will do it. I used these on my Lightning build that I did a few months back, and they're just excellent quality. It's kind of hard to see in the plastic there. Yes, yeah, you can see how the holes are nicely drilled out. Way better than you can get anything in plastic. And then also got a set of HGW fabric belts. Again, I really like these belts from HGW, and again, any aircraft build, I try to always get me a set of these just because of the added realism they add to the cockpit. And I actually find these fun to build, so we'll be adding them. And lastly, some of these 3D printed decals from the Eduards space line. Now, I used these decals on my Lightning build as well, and I really liked them. I don't think they're as good as quality as the Quinta Studios, but they're getting hard to find anymore, and I actually wasn't sure if they made a set for the F6F, but Eduard did make some for their own kit, of course, so I went ahead and picked these up, and they should work just great on this. It also comes with some more belts, but of course we got these to take care of that. So, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be the next build. I hope you guys will enjoy it. So, the next video will probably be starting on the cockpit, because that seems like the best place to start on this. So, everyone stay tuned for many more builds and kit reviews to come.